When most people think about pirates fighting at sea, they imagine chaotic battles, cannonballs flying, swords clashing, and pirates screaming as they swing from ropes onto enemy decks. And while that image isn't entirely wrong, it barely scratches the surface of how pirates actually fought. In truth, pirate tactics were insane, unpredictable, and brutally effective. These weren't random acts of violence. They were calculated, ruthless strategies designed to shock, overwhelm, and win fast. So if you want to know how pirates really fought their battles, prepare yourself, because what happened on those bloody decks was far more intense and clever than anything Hollywood ever showed you. First, you have to understand one thing. Pirates weren't looking for fair fights. They didn't want prolonged naval battles or shootouts that dragged on for hours. Battles wasted time, risked injury, and destroyed valuable cargo. Pirates wanted to take the ship quickly, intact, and with minimal risk. That's why nearly every pirate battle began not with cannon fire, but with fear. The first tactic? The flag game. Pirate ships didn't sail under the Jolly Roger all the time. They often flew false flags, pretending to be friendly merchant ships or even naval vessels. They might approach slowly, acting casual, even waving. Then, at the last moment, when they were close enough to strike, they'd raise the black flag, or worse, the red one. The black flag meant surrender or die. The red flag? That meant no mercy, no survivors. It was psychological warfare, and it worked. Many ships surrendered without a fight the moment they saw that red banner rise. But if the target didn't surrender, the pirates didn't hesitate. They came in fast, sails full, guns loaded. But not too many guns. Remember, they didn't want to sink the prize. Instead, they fired grape shot or chain shot, not to kill, but to cripple. Chain shot was two cannonballs connected by a chain designed to rip through sails and rigging. Take out the masts, destroy the sails, and the enemy ship becomes a floating duck. No escape, no mobility. Now the pirates had control. As the two ships closed in, the pirates prepared for the most dangerous part of the fight, boarding. This was where pirates truly excelled. Most navies and merchant crews weren't trained for close combat. Pirates were. They were armed with cutlasses, pistols, axes, grenades, and knives, and they weren't afraid to get bloody. They knew that speed and shock were key. The goal was to get as many men across to the other deck as fast as possible, screaming, firing, throwing grenades, and creating total chaos. They used grappling hooks to pull the ships together. Sometimes they'd even build custom gangplanks or bridges to make boarding faster. Some pirates swung on ropes, yes, but that was rare. More often they charged head-on, leaping the gap with weapons drawn. The first wave would throw smoke bombs or stink pots, jars filled with chemicals that produced choking smoke or foul stench to blind and disorient the defenders. Then came the steel. Pirates fought dirty. No formation, no honor duels, just survival. They'd throw sand in eyes, kick knees, bash heads with gun butts. Some carried boarding axes, perfect for chopping through rigging or skulls. Others dual-wielded pistols. Single-shot flintlocks they'd fire and drop, switching to swords or daggers mid-fight. These men weren't just thugs. Many were ex-soldiers, trained fighters, or veterans of other navies. They knew what they were doing, and they did it fast. The key was speed. The faster the enemy was overwhelmed, the less likely it was that the crew would mount a defense or damage the cargo. Pirates would rush to seize the helm, powder room, and officers first. Take out the leadership, and panic spreads. Some pirates aimed at the captain immediately, knowing that his death or surrender often broke morale. And if the crew still resisted, pirates didn't hesitate to use terror as a weapon. They might throw a body overboard, cut someone down in front of others, light a fuse near the powder room just to prove they weren't bluffing. The message was always the same: resist and you all die. But not every pirate battle was a direct assault. Some pirates used pure deception. They'd approach in small boats at night, silently, with oars muffled and weapons ready. They'd climb aboard an anchored ship, kill the night watch, and take over before anyone woke up. No cannon, no noise, just swift, silent violence. Others disguised themselves as merchants until they were already tied up alongside their target in port. One minute you're helping a friendly crew unload barrels, the next you're staring down the barrel of a flintlock. Even when it came to naval vessels, pirates had tricks. They knew how to bait. They might let a small ship be seen and chased, leading the Navy into a trap where 2 or 3 pirate ships were waiting behind an island or reef. Or they'd run into shallow waters where larger Navy ships couldn't follow, then turn around and attack from cover. Pirates were masters of geography. They studied currents, winds, coastlines. They knew where to hide and when to strike. And they adapted. When the Royal Navy started building faster ships to chase them, pirates changed tactics again. Some used fire ships, setting captured vessels ablaze and sending them drifting into enemy lines. Others used false surrenders, pretending to give up, then launching a surprise attack the moment the enemy lowered their guard. Some even burned their own ships rather than let them be captured, escaping inland or blending in with civilians until they could steal another vessel. Inside the ship, during a fight, things got brutal. Blood on the deck made footing slippery. Smoke from black powder filled the air, stinging eyes and lungs. Screams, fire, steel. It was chaos. The smell of gunpowder, sweat, and blood was overwhelming. And yet pirate crews often moved with terrifying coordination. They covered each other, rotated fighters, and communicated through shouts, bells, and even whistles. They knew how to seize control and hold it. Once the battle was won, the pirates moved quickly. Valuable cargo was identified and moved. Weapons were collected. Prisoners were questioned, sometimes harshly, and then decisions were made. Would they be spared, set adrift, forced to join the crew, or executed to avoid witnesses? It depended on the pirate captain, the mood of the crew, and the threat the prisoners posed. Some pirate captains were brutal, others more calculating, but none wasted time. The longer they lingered, the more danger they faced from patrols, rival crews, or storms. A successful raid might last only 20 minutes from start to finish. That's how fast it had to be, and that's why their tactics worked. Because pirates didn't fight for honor, they fought to win. Their tactics were built around shock, fear, speed, and cunning. They didn't have the resources of empires, the backing of kings, or endless supplies. What they had was desperation, experience, and an edge sharpened by the knowledge that if they lost, they'd hang. And that edge made them lethal. Even the most powerful navies in the world feared pirate attacks, not because pirates had more firepower, but because they were unpredictable, fast, and relentless. One minute a ship would be sailing calmly under blue skies. The next, it was engulfed in smoke, fire, and steel. That's what pirate battles really were like. Not glorious naval duels, but sudden, brutal ambushes. Not 2 equal sides, but one desperate force overwhelming another with violence and fear. It was war stripped down to its most basic savage form. And for the pirates, it worked. They didn't need to win every fight, just enough. Enough to survive, enough to spread terror, enough to keep the gold flowing and the legends growing. Because the truth is, pirates didn't just fight with weapons. They fought with reputation. With every victory, every horror story, they made the next battle easier. Ships surrendered faster. Crews hesitated, captains panicked. That's how you win at sea, not just with cannonballs, but with fear. So the next time you think about pirates battling at sea, don't picture elegant duels or slow-motion sword fights. Picture chaos. Picture men charging through smoke, blades swinging, screams echoing over splintered wood. Picture tactics designed not just to kill, but to crush resistance before it ever began. That's how pirates fought. That's how they won. And that's why, for a time, they ruled the seas.